Hello and welcome to Everyday Tarot, your daily dive into the divine wisdom of the tarot. I'm your host, Camille A. Saunders, healer, tarot enthusiast, and your local witch next door, and today I'm talking about tarot and Clover. Whether you're a seasoned tarot reader or just starting to explore, this podcast offers daily insights, intuitive messages, and practical advice drawn from the cards. Each episode is designed to help you connect with your inner wisdom, find clarity in your decisions, and tap into the energy of the universe. Tune in every day, Monday through Friday, for fresh perspectives and empowering guidance from the tarot as interpreted by me. If you love the show, the best way to support it for free is by listening daily, leaving a review, and subscribing or following in your favorite podcast app. If you weren't able to attend live or didn't register in time for my virtual tarot card crafting workshop, you can go ahead and get the full workshop, which includes the hour-long recording, my step-by-step method, examples of the tarot cards I've created, journaling questions, and a PDF to walk you all through it for just $33. The link will be in the show notes to purchase that. I am also going to be offering a 12-week Tarot for Transformation live course starting in late August this summer. If you're interested, there is a link in the show notes to sign up for more information. I just updated my Patreon benefits to be bigger and better than ever. If you want an individual card pulled for you once a month live on the podcast, join the Everyday Tarot Patreon family at the Lovers level. If you'd like to support the podcast even further, you can get a one-time individual 5-card reading in addition to all the other benefits if you join the Witch Bitch level on the Patreon. All right, let's see what else here. If you're local to the greater Puget Sound area where I am, you can join me at our next Let's Talk Tarot meetup group event. We'll be doing a social meetup at the Old Hangout in the Tacoma McMinimans, the Elks Lodge. The bar is all the way downstairs from 1 to 3 p.m. on July 27th. Bring your tarot cards, your questions, and your obsession with tarot, and come meet other witchy and tarot folks in your community. If you're interested in my free PDF with the 2025 5-card tarot spread I created just for you at the beginning of this year, you can get that by joining my newsletter list. My weekly newsletter always has the most up-to-date information on my upcoming events, presentations, musings, and more. And if you don't already know, I'm a sex and relationships therapist seeing clients virtually all over Washington State. I love working with queer, poly, and witchy clients, so if you'd like to work with a therapist that doesn't judge you, is witchy just like you, and helps you learn how to deal with anxiety, chronic pain or illness, communication issues, self-advocacy, and sex, head to my website and book a free consultation now to start your journey. All right. Okay. And yeah, if you can find the links for any of these offers in the show notes or on my website, CamilleASaunders.com/everydaytarot, in addition to the images of the cards I pull on each episode. And welcome to season 11, where I'm talking all about tarot and plant allies. If you haven't listened to my other seasons yet, you should check those out. I've talked tarot basics. I've gone through all the major arcana and all of the suits cards. I've talked tarot and pop culture. I've gone through 13 common tarot spreads and talked more recently about tarot and witchcraft. So in season 11 here, we're talking about tarot and plant allies, and today I'm talking about tarot and Clover. So I'll do a plant description, we'll talk plant magic, its relation to the tarot, and uses of the plant. So today we are talking about clover, or sort of more specifically red clover, which is Trifolium pratense. Red clover is a perennial herb found in pastures, meadows, and grassy areas. Traditionally, red clover has been used as a blood and skin cleanser. It is commonly used to help with hormonally related skin complaints such as acne during puberty. An ointment can be used to treat lymphatic swelling, while strong infusions are made into compresses to place over sore arthritic joints. Red clover syrup has also been used for stubborn and spasmodic coughs and as an eye wash for conjunctivitis. So we've heard 4-leaf clovers, right, and sort of the luck associated with them. There's different types of clovers, like I said. So we're talking about a red clover, or the one I have in my yard is a crimson clover. So yeah, some of them, they generally have 3 leaves, although, you're lucky if you find 4. So I have a piece here that's like a stem. It has a couple different branchings off with 3 leaves on either side, and then at the top it opens up into a flower that is very full. Sometimes they're a lighter purple. The one I have is like a magenta. Again, mine's called crimson clover, so it is more of like a reddish pink. There are ones that are more, like I said, purpley blue colored, and again, mine is pretty neon green in the stem and the leaves. Some of them, or sometimes at whatever time you see them, sometimes the leaves are bigger and a little bit more like silvery gray when you see them, especially if you see the slightly more like lavender purpley clover. So let's talk some plant magic. So on the Parting of the Ways blog, they talk about red clover. Here they associate it with the 10 of water, so perhaps like the 10 of cups. They are speaking from the Herb Crafters Tarot by author Letitia Guthrie and artist Joanna Pole Colbert. And when they speak about red clover, they say, taste the nectar of deep nourishment. Serenity rises from the roots of gratitude, and compost breeds contentment. Serenity is born from nourishment of the soul. Experience the joy and stability of your dreams coming to life. As the deep taproot of red clover restores the soil underground, the bright flowers delight humans and animals above ground. When you feel refreshed and happy, freely share your good fortune with others. Radiate peace and abundance. Red clover needs to be planted only once to flourish on its own. Trust your wishes to unfold without interference. The tea is as delicious as it is healing. The road to well-being can be filled with harmony. It can be this good. So different kind of crafting things you can do. You can sit and taste the red clover flowers. I'm nibbling on mine a little bit. It says you can dance barefoot with gratitude in a field of clover to find serenity. Clover is a very soft plant, like on the feet. Often it looks like a ground cover, and it does help sort of regenerate the soil because it does have a deep taproot. And it can bring up nutrients from underground. And you can enjoy daily red clover infusion to find contentment and give the used herbs back to the earth. So again, often made into teas, it sounds like, and then sometimes those teas are used topically, so like on the skin as a compress, which is interesting. There's also the Druid Plant Oracle by authors Philip and Stephanie Carr-Gom and artist Will Worthington that talk about clover in that deck, where they say the wisdom, or clover is about wisdom, health, and good fortune. They say, since records began, good luck has been said to come to those who find a 4-leaf clover. It's extremely auspicious to draw this card in a reading, and it may well indicate that you are about to experience good fortune. In Sussex folklore, the 4 leaves of a lucky clover were said to represent fame, wealth, and good health, and a faithful lover. Perhaps one or more of these will come to you. The old phrase, living in clover, meant living in luxury, and it is possible that you will be able to enjoy a standard of living or lifestyle that you have long dreamed about but never quite attained. To dream of clover is considered a portent of good fortune and health, and the wise understand that the greatest wealth is found not in money but in good health. If you can find wisdom as well as health, then you can bask in good fortune regardless of how much money we might have. The well of Sagas shown on the card is considered by Druids to be the source of wisdom. From this source, they refresh their bodies and their spirits. So if you draw this card in this deck, it says you are trying to free yourself of something unwanted, troubling, or even toxic. You may want to rid yourself of a habit or anxiety that bothers you, or perhaps you wish to be free from something that you feel inhibits you or hampers your development. This card may be inviting you to first consider what you have gained or learned from what you wish to banish. And again, that was the Clover card from the Druid Plant Oracle. I'll link it in the show notes. And the last sort of correspondence I saw was, again, the Sow the Magic. They are a company that does like art, and then they also sell like seeds. So they have these very beautiful seed packets. So they have a purple clover or red clover on one of their decks or packets, and it is associated with the Four of Cups, I believe, on theirs. Here they say purple or red clover flowers can be unappreciated because they are abundant and ubiquitous. Just check your local meadow and you'll find them growing wild and free. Flower heads can be collected in full bloom during the summer months. Ancient cultures, including the Druids, believed that red clover could ward off evil spells and witches, while other groups were fascinated by the 3-lobed leaves that were associated with the Trinity and the 4-lobed leaves that symbolize the iconic symbol of the cross. So if you pull this card here, it says opportunity surrounds you. Adjust your gaze to appreciate a bounty of opportunity that awaits. All right. Yeah, and then when I looked up tarot card correspondences for clover or red clover, I found generally the Suit of Cups and then also the Star card. So I pulled some cards from the Desert Illuminations deck. I did pull the Star card that I have in front of me. I pulled the 8 of Jugs, which in this deck are cups, and then also the Queen of Jugs or the Queen of Cups. Those are the ones that kind of stood out to me there. So I'll have photos of those in on my website and on Instagram if you want to look at those. But again, sort of the Star card is this like hopeful, optimistic, sometimes abundance, but also it often depicts someone pouring water like back into a pool, which again, I think with the red clover, like you can grow it. Often it's grown in pastures or meadows, right? And it is this sort of like regenerating thing. You can plant it once. It really nourishes the soil because it kind of brings nutrients up from the ground, and then it spreads seeds and dies back, and then the more seeds will come. Lots of animals eat clover, livestock and other critters that like to go in pasture, and so yeah, so that's kind of my interpretation of its association with the star, is that like we're pouring back into the clover pours back into the land or into the soil. And I guess, yeah, the cups suit is interesting. Like, it says red clover is associated with all elements and the Cancer zodiac sign. Cancer is a water sign. So, right, we have the cups cards. It says it's associated with Venus, the moon, and Mercury. And it's associated with the new moon phase. You can use the flowers or the leaves. It does say if you're going to collect them, collect in spring and avoid collection in autumn due to issues with toxic mold, which is interesting. It is a moist plant, right? It is sweet and kind of cooling. It can help, yeah, with different things medicinally. A lot of people may have made like clover crowns or, again, looked for 4-wreath clovers as children. I do feel like there's this like inner child aspect of red clover. Yeah, it had, let's see. It's good for the skin. It can help with coughs and congestion or menstrual cycles. Like, it's seen as a plant of luck and good fortune, helping to protect against baneful forces. Use the herb in all spells of luck and abundance. A 4-wreath clover is a lucky charm, especially if you found it yourself. It's also associated with like the fae or fairies or the good folk. So you can incorporate it into rituals and magic involving them. It's also a luck charm. You can set intentions for maybe like coming across something fortuitous, a person or an encounter, a situation. It says you can write your intention down. Write down the type of encounter you're seeking, folding the paper around a clover leaf and blossom. It says the personality of red clover. Red clover folk can have the appearance of energetic and physical weakness due to feeling overwhelmed by the world around them. In other words, they are the midst in a storm and are losing a sense of their center and who they are. They've had repeated experiences in their life that have led them to feeling unsteady in their sense of self, which can further compromise an already inherently sensitive disposition. It says, while not a strict rule, I would say that most red clover folk I've met would qualify as highly sensitive people. The lack of support and trust in their sensitivity often has taught to them by people around them or in childhood. And so folks tend to perpetuate their own like kind of self-restricting cycle when that has happened. Red clover seems to have a particular signature of denying their psychic and intuitive gifts, which leads to a state of listlessness and an energetic cloudiness or congestion that feels impossible to clear. People might even fear their own psychic gifts. One of the beautiful paths of healing that red clover folk can take is to cultivate their psychic gifts while simultaneously connecting with the spirit of the land they live with, as well as ancestral lands. Red clover can help them to feel strengthened and grounded in their sensitivity through this approach of land-censored intuitive practice so that they can flourish in their many ways of experiencing the world. I love that. Okay. So let's get into some uses of clover. Again, you can always, run around on it in a meadow, use it to make beautiful flower crowns if you would like, but let's talk about some other uses of the plant. I'm trying to look for the magical herbalism part first, but let's just get into uses then. Oh, here we go. The magical herbalism of clover. So clover is a visionary herb. It's associated with Beltane and faithfulness, ruled by the planet Mercury and all four elements. It's sacred to Aphrodite, Freya, Hathor, and Venus. Okay, so clover, there is a red clover wine recipe in here. You can make wine from flowers. So it says clover is an herb of balance and relates to all the elements. Like we said, the wine is particularly useful for fairy contacts at Beltane and midsummer. So you use 2 quarts of red clover flowers, 3 lemons, 2 oranges, yeast, and 2 pounds of sugar. You put the flowers in a brewing bin, pour 1 gallon of boiling water over them, add the juice of the oranges and lemons. You cool it to lukewarm, about 20 degrees Celsius, and add the yeast. Ferment for 5 days, pour the sugar in, and then strain the liquid over it and fit an airlock. All right. What else can we do with clover? So I think, like I said earlier, it's often used in a like encounters or like bringing something or someone new into your life. So here they have a friendship talisman that you can make. So you use a pink cloth and you get a crocus bulb, 3 primrose flowers, 3 cardamom pods, 1 clover stem, 3 coriander seeds, and 1 piece of dried orange peel. And you can use this to attract new friendships, and if you assemble it at the waxing moon. And what else? So in the incense section, they talk about using dried flowers and that clover is a common petal or flower that's used because it keeps its color and perfume better than others in the drying process. And it can add, a lot of color, attractiveness, and also like smell and texture to your incense if you're making like dried incense or like loose incense, not an incense stick. And so commonly used petals and flowers include rose, sunflower, marigold, jasmine, honeysuckle, and clover. And finally, and here it talks about magical orb correspondences and that clover is associated with the full moon, the new moon, and the waning moon. So clover can be used during a lot of different times of the moon cycle and is very versatile in that way. And I would say clover, again, it's like very light and gentle. It does like kind of heavy lifting and pulling things out of the soil, in again, sort of being this very versatile plant. It's edible, it's soft on your feet, like it's great for livestock and pasture. It's eaten by little bunnies and other critters, like bees like it. Like it's very well liked. And you'll see it a lot if you ever buy like non-grass, like mixes for your backyard or anything. Like commonly people will want to make a clover yard. I would say it doesn't necessarily do super well if it's just clover, but it's a great thing to buy seed and spread in your yard. That's how I ended up with red clover, crimson clover in my yard. I have other clovers too that have come along. I have some more that are the more like traditional purpley lavender color as well. But I know the crimson clover that I show in my picture today is from seed that I planted at some point, and it's easy. You just scatter it in the yard, seed to spread in that way. So that's very cool. All right, let's see. Is there anything else? I don't think so. So let's go ahead and pull a card. What message does Clover have for us today? I'm going to pull a card from the Citadel, a fantasy oracle deck by Fen Inkwright. I haven't used this one in a little bit, so this will be fun. This deck has a lot of red accents, like on the box or on the cards themselves. They sort of have gold and like black, but also they have red as accents, so it feels appropriate for talking about crimson clover today. And it's sort of like a fantastical deck here, right? A fantasy oracle. And I feel like clover is sort of fantastical, especially with its association with fairies or the fae. Okay, and I pulled the Adventurer reversed. It says that, so upright, it's about responsibility and expectations. Okay, and all right, I will just read the reversal. So it says, the pressure that's on you right now has you rooted to the spot, crippled by anxiety and fear. Though it may feel safer to stay where you are, you may not realize that your indecision is also stopping others from progressing. Your actions, or in this case, inaction, have repercussions. So upright, it's about kind of the weight of expectations. It actually depicts like a exploding volcano. So again, sort of that idea of like, okay, I'm just gonna like hold it together. It's fine, it's totally fine. And then eventually, right, you explode. And often at like something small. And so thinking about that, right, like this responsibility, kind of taking on a lot of responsibility, and then sometimes getting resentful of that or not having set boundaries, and then feeling really overwhelmed, right? So the reverse is really telling us then that, right, the pressure's on, we're feeling like stuck, right? We're feeling like, oh no, we might just like, I just want to like contain the volcano. Like, no, I don't want it to go anywhere. Too dangerous. May feel safer to stay where you are. You might not realize your indecision is also stopping others from progressing. Your actions, or in this case, inaction, have repercussions. So it sounds like Clover is telling us to like move along, just like let it happen. Stop trying to like repress or hold it back or have the right representation or not representation necessarily, but like expression of your feelings or upset or anger, and just go for it. Like just do it, say the thing, send the email, and just kind of see what happens, right? A lot of that anxiety will be relieved if we just take action. So Clover is telling us, right, like, hey, it's okay, I got you, like, don't worry. We got a little luck on our side, right? I know things are hard right now. We're rooted. We need to be rooted, right? Grounded in our values and expectations for ourselves. And also, right, in order to like spread and have more good fortune, we need to like keep progressing. We need to move through things instead of trying to like hold ourselves back from fear of, I don't totally know what. All right. So thanks for joining me today on the Everyday Tarot podcast. Just as a reminder, the podcast comes out daily, Monday through Friday for all of 2025. Links for the tarot decks I talk about always be in the show notes and on my website if you'd like to look at them or purchase them. And if you'd like to join me on the journey of using the tarot for transformation, click on the link in the show notes to indicate your interest in receiving more info. We'll be working together for 12 weeks of calls and journaling to discover what happens when we want to transform our lives through the tarot. All right. And you can always email me, me@CamilleASaunders.com with thoughts, questions, and more. All right. See you later. Bye-bye.